My concept of permaculture is that it's a sustainable lifestyle which has guidelines rather than rules, and which you are basically working with nature rather than against nature, as you would with sprays and this type of thing, to produce food. I pulled this garlic this morning and it's not a bad crop. This is a particularly large form of garlic. It's called elephant garlic. And it's got very large corms and large segments. And this is now the 4th year, I think, that I've used the same. I bought the seed originally and planted that, and since then I've been using my own seed from each year. Our place is 1,060 square metres, which for a residential section is actually quite large these days. When we came here, it had a whole heap of large trees on the northern side, trees that were useless, like camphor laurels, which are good for firewood and good for mulch, and that's about it. And so we got no sunlight in the house. So we chopped those down, mulched them, and that was the start of our gardens. So our first job was to get rid of the trees that were in the way and plant trees that were useful, like fruit trees. When we came here, there were about 3 feijoas, and that was the total of the fruit trees. That was 5 years ago. We now have something like 40-something fruit trees, many of which are producing fruit, some of which will produce fruit in the next couple of years, or else they'll be pulled out. Setting up gardens was a big thing because sort of getting a balance between the amount of garden and the amount of grass that we've got. Grass really hasn't got a place in permaculture, in traditional Bill Mollison type permaculture, but we had kids and they used to run around on the grass and this type of thing. So you've got to allow for that and put that into the design of the permaculture. You can't just sort of say, okay, these are the rules, this is what we're going to do, we are only going to produce food. You have to have other things as well. We're moderately self-sufficient. There are things that we buy off-season, like for example tomatoes. We would have tomatoes from probably the end of January through till end of May. After that we have to buy tomatoes because we just can't grow tomatoes here, it's too cold. Last year, believe it or not, we were self-sufficient in bananas for about 3 months. Each banana plant only has 1 bunch of bananas, so after it is flowered and the fruit is matured, we then take the bananas off. We then chop down that particular tree, chop it up, and that gets dumped around the roots at the bottom and it rots away, and that's putting the compost that has come from the soil in this area back into the soil in this area. We're self-sufficient in lettuce all year. We're self-sufficient in broccoli most of the year, and silver beet all the year. It's fun, and there's a sense of achievement at being able to say, hey, you know, we're basically self-sufficient in food. These 6-foot high wooden fences are a resource rather than a problem. And we've grown grapes on this one, and we grow berries on them. Green waste is a very, very valuable resource. All the food scraps from the kitchen goes as compost. Any green waste on the property goes as compost. We throw out no green waste at all. The lawn clippings I generally put around as mulch around the plants, and very often I will water the plants first and then put the green grass clippings on there, and that will keep the water in. Because if you let the grass clippings dry out and then water it, it's actually quite waterproof. That's how the thatched roofs work. Permaculture is not something that you ever achieve an end to. It is an ongoing project. You just keep going and going and going. It's about thinking, it's about observing, it's about, it's not just planting stuff. Stuff doesn't just grow or not grow. There's a reason for it growing or not growing. Yeah, well, this is was a loquat tree, it just flowered at the end of last year and had fruit, and you can still see the mummified remains of the fruit on the end here. And then it just up and died for some reason. So maybe having its fruit was its final gesture, and it decided that's it doesn't like it here. So we'll have to replace it with something. I probably won't replace it with another loquat. I'll probably try something else, but I haven't decided what yet. You have to experiment, you have to be continually trying new ideas. You have to be evaluating what works, what doesn't work. If it doesn't work, don't do it again. If it does work, that's great. This thing here is a Cassano. I don't know why it didn't do anything. It's going to be moved anyway because the deck comes out there. But this is the second one we've tried, and the second one that's sort of done very poorly. Probably the most important thing that I'd like to get across about permaculture is that you need to read all the books on permaculture, see all the videos on permaculture, visit all the permaculture blogs, and then do your own thing. Because you will never going to get a permaculture block that is similar to, or that is identical to another one. No two areas are the same, no two environments are identical. So it's all going to be different. And it's all things to all people to some extent. People have different ideas of it. I heard one person who was a very keen grower of all sorts of things tell me that permaculture was just a disorganised mess. I rather like to think that it's messy in one respect, but it's not disorganised. It's very well organised, and it's organised in nature's way rather than in human ways. So it may not look nice from what we would look if we went to the LSE flower show or something like that and see things growing in nice neat rows and not a weed in sight. It doesn't look like that. Because it's more diversified than that, it's far healthier than that. And it's got plants that are bringing nutrients up from the bottom, feeding the leaves, and then dying on the surface, putting the nutrients on the top. Yeah, and it's this diversity which is the real strength of permaculture.